Hello, my fellow citizens of the Evergreen State, Washington State. It's election time, and the ballots are officially out as of today, October 21st. I got mine yesterday. Yeah, in an envelope that comes in an envelope that looks like this. And inside, you'll find your ballot. There'll be an envelope to mail your ballot back in. There will be a cover envelope that you put your ballot in for security reasons, and you'll get your ballot. Okay, also in there it will contain an instruction. It's very important that you use black ink only, so make sure you have a black ink pen, and also that you fill in the circle for your selection completely. And this time it's important to color inside the lines. Okay, now for the voting process, you go through and mark your ballot, again making sure to color fully inside the lines of your selection. And here's a few tips on making an educated vote. The first part of the ballot will have all the initiatives, advisories, and what else they have, and proposed amendments, all kinds of bill actions. So the first thing will be the initiatives. Now, my rule of thumb for initiatives is if I read through you have the voters pamphlet, and it'll describe, you should have gotten a voters pamphlet. It will describe the initiatives and all the different people that are candidates and everything. And on the initiatives, if you read through the initiative and you really don't understand what it's really doing, if it's not that clear, your best bet is just to vote no, because it's probably going to be, if it's not really clear, it's going to be really hard to enact or put into effect, and it's going to have problems. So if you don't really understand what the initiative is doing, just vote no, because it's probably a bad idea. And also, if you see things like adding taxes, it's probably a good idea to vote no on those. And things that basically provide special cases based on hard case situations. I mean, just things that look like they're going to cost you more money or increase all kinds of, law complications to the bureaucracy. Like you say, if you don't understand it, you're not sure what it's going to do, just say no. And there's advisory votes, and these will ask you, do you want to repeal something or keep it? And if it's going to repeal a tax requirement, that's probably a good idea to say repeal. And really, in case of, my attitude is in case of doubt, the last thing we need in the state is more laws. We have enough bureaucracy and complications in our state, and we have way too many taxes. So I would say if you're not really sure, just say repeal. And again, the best, to respond in the negative is usually the best case if you really don't understand it. And then on, things like proposed amendments, those are pretty serious, and if you're not really sure what it's going to do, definitely say reject. And in the county elections, be very careful about making changes, especially ones that are going to add taxes, or things that you just don't, that look kind of funny. I would just say vote no on anything that doesn't look, it looks complicated or you don't really understand it. Again, just vote no. So that's, a lot of people, they're kind of put off, but you should at least look at the amendments. People should look at their whole ballot. And then of course you have this year the President of the United States. So again, make sure you very carefully color your selection, because things can get really screwy if your ballot gets rejected from the machine that they feed it into, and somebody has to do it manually. You know, you can get human error or even people who don't want you to vote a certain way. So make sure you color that. Stay within the line of the little round, the little oval box, and use black ink. Make sure you use black ink because other things can cause it to go. Do not use pencil. Okay, and then you're going to have a bunch of candidates. First you'll have like the federal candidates, then you'll have the state candidates. And again, on some of these, they're going to, most of them say prefers Republican Party over, you know, or prefers Democrat Party. So, and then you'll get down to, there's a few that don't have, it's a nonpartisan. You're just going to have to go online maybe and look up, see what the candidates' positions are for those. And then at the final group of candidates are going to be the ones for state, the judges for Supreme Court or whatever, Superior Court. Those ones, there is a really good website for those called votingforjudges.org, and I will include the link in the description of this video. Okay, once you're through voting and marking all your ballot, then it's time to put together your voting ballot to mail. So the first thing that you want to do is there's like a little tab. I've already torn mine off, but it looks like this at the top. And that's for you to keep. You'll tear that off and keep that. That's your receipt for your ballot. And then the rest of it is ready to go. So then you want to take that ballot or the ballot cover envelope. It's the open one that looks like this. It's open and it doesn't have any way of sealing it. This is just a cover for your ballot, so it will be secure and secret. So you'll just want to stick your ballot in that cover thing. Really try to get it in there as good as you can so that the top has nothing showing and there's just a little piece on the end here that is showing above the cover of the ballot, and that's to make your ballot secret. And then the next thing you want to do is stick your ballot in the mailing envelope like this. You're going to stick it in like this, and so everything should fit. If you've got it nicely tucked into the cover, it should fit right into the envelope. And then of course you seal it. Now once you've sealed it and it's all ready to go, then you want to put your signature and the date. Don't forget to do that. That's really important. You must sign it and date it for your ballot to count. So I'm going to sign mine right now. Okay, I've signed my ballot and put my return address on. And one of the things you notice is it requires postage. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use a stamp. You don't have to use a stamp because there are ballot drop boxes available all over the place where you can drop your ballot off. Some things are the town hall. Some things like might be a library. For instance, say I'm going shopping at Bellevue Mall. Well, I can drop my ballot off at the Bellevue Regional Library because that is a place they'll have it's right out in front. It'll be outside the I've done this before, but it'll be outside the door. It'll be some kind of a sign with ballot drop box. So you can go to a number of places to drop off your ballot. And if you there are locations listed. You can go on to the Washington State Elections website and you can look up where ballot drop boxes are available. And the ballot drop boxes are now available all over the place, but the ballot boxes will not be available. They'll be picked up on the election day, November 8th at 8 p.m. So you need to be there before then if you want to use a ballot drop box. Now, one of the things is a lot of people have some concerns about voter fraud. Now, Washington State is a mail-only voting state, so you can only vote by mail or, well, in the ballot drop box, but it's a mail-in voting. The ballot is mailed to you, and then you mail it back or leave it in a drop box. We don't have like polling places on election day. One of the ways to check on your ballot at all stages of the voting process is to go to the Washington State Elections and Voting page. At the bottom right of the Voters and Election page, you will find a link for MyVote. If you click on that link and put in your name and birth date, it will take you to your MyVote page. Here is a picture of my own MyVote page with my personal information blotted out, of course. But as you can see, there are a number of useful things here. For instance, it tells you your voter registration details. You can get your voter's guide there for your the state. And very important, it tells you your drop box locations and voting center locations, and the very most important thing is your ballot status. If you click on ballot status, you will be taken to your county elections webpage. At your county elections webpage, they will ask again for your name and birth date, and then you can see what the status of your ballot is. They can show that it's been mailed to you and when it was mailed. They can show when they receive your ballot back. They can tell you it's received, and then they can tell you if it's been processed for voting. That you probably won't see till November 8th. If you live in an apartment complex, one of the other things you can do is see if there are loose ballots laying around in the mailroom or near the mailbox. Sometimes they if they can't find the right address for the person, maybe they lived there a few months or a few years before and they haven't updated their address. You may see a bunch of ballots just sitting on a shelf like a loose ballot. So I've seen that before, and you need to make sure those are controlled. Call your elections board or go to your apartment building office and say these need to be returned because they're sensitive information. Otherwise, somebody could take those ballots and pretend they're the other person and mail those ballots in and commit voter fraud. Hopefully nobody would, but it's always best to be careful. And again, you can continue to track your ballot on your ballot status link in your county elections page. And so these are things you can do to keep good security of ballots and ensure that we have fair and correct elections in Washington State. Thank you.